This current table isn't tall enough, so let's make something that any beginner like myself can make. Alright, I'm going to make this out of wood that was on clearance at a timber yard I visited recently. Cutting the pieces to size, only 5 bits in total, leaving the shelf bit till last. The top and bottom pieces are about 300mm in length by 220mm width. Then the thickness is roughly about 20mm. The legs are cut on the bandsaw. With this project I could have used the table saw, but the mitre and bandsaws are much easier. Well, I mean, I don't have to clear any clutter off them. Of course, whenever I'm using the bandsaw or table saw, it's always safety first, and I'm using a push stick. This one I made myself, as you can probably tell. This is the start of preparing the legs that will be roughly a shouldered housing joint. I was thinking about using dowels, but I didn't think the table would be sturdy enough. So instead I went for the housing joint, and in the end I'm glad I did. After I had the legs marked out, it came time to mark up on the base and the top where the legs were going to. This was approximately 100mm in from the short sides. Cutting the legs was easy enough. It was back over to the bandsaw and let it do all the work. Well, I did have to clean a couple of the shoulders up with a chisel, but I didn't mind doing that. It had been a while since I last used the plunge router. Since I got it, the dust extraction pot had smashed due to the hose wrestling it off the actual router. By the way, the router bits that I use are Trend, and it's the big 50-piece case set that I got. I do go over the lines a little bit on the top, but it's okay because nobody will see it as it's underneath. Then there's chiselling. A lot of chiselling, and that's chiseling out the remaining waste. But you only really get to see a small part of it. Just remember though, if you're going to do chisel work yourself, make sure the chisels are sharp before you start. I actually sharpened mine before I started the whole project. Okay, so after I've done all that work, I have it dry fitted just to work out where the shelf was going to go. I didn't even put it in the plan because I wanted to work it out by eye, so to speak. And it goes 270mm from the base. After marking it out on the legs, it was over to Old Faithful, the bandsaw, to cut the shelf itself. Once I did that, it was a repeat of making the housing joints like I'd done earlier. Then over to the router table to put roundovers on the outsides of all the pieces. Don't worry, this bit does get a little bit faster. I did decide to sand everything before assembly, mainly because I thought it would be quite difficult to get into where all the legs were after I'd glued it together. And I'm glad that I did it this way because it was awkward just to do some light sanding afterwards as a touch up. I went up to a 240 grit. And the roundovers were hand sanded just because I had a feeling that if I used the power sand it might ruin the roundovers, because I've seen that done before. Yeah, some of that green tape is in the wrong place as it's covering where the joint goes, but I do finally realise that and correct it. The whole process of the gluing did go very smoothly, and I only needed 6 clamps, whereas my last project I think I used about 10. I've used Danish oil to finish off the whole table. Then in a few days time, once that is fully dried and cured on it, I'm going to apply a food safe wax to the top surface only, because that's where I'm going to be putting drinks or food. And it's just to keep it safe. One completed side table, which, as you can see, is absolutely perfect. Probably is the best thing I've made so far. So if you've enjoyed this, then why not check this video out, and I'll see you next time.